Hello YouTube, my name is Nick, and today I'm bringing you the second part of my top 25 metal albums of 2017 videos. I just uploaded the other one 10 seconds ago, doing the next one now. This one should be a lot easier because, it's less albums. There's probably going to be a couple albums on here that make people roll their eyes, but I don't care. This is my list. So let's get right into it. This first album, I believe, is a debut. I don't believe they have any other material. I could be wrong. But this is Postnatal Abortion with Decapitate the Newborn. The best way I can describe this band is if Cannibal Corpse did a ton of meth and recorded an album together. Extremely violent, fast, heavy, chunky, meaty, bass-ridden, brutal death metal. I wouldn't really say it's technical, but it's fast as heck. It's really, really fast at some points. Gravity blasts, lots of tremolo crap going on here. Just a super fun album to listen to. It's not that long, but the album, the songs themselves are actually pretty lengthy. Amazing album. I loved it when I first heard it. Spun that a billion times, seemed like. It's just fun to listen to. If you like brutal death metal, check out Postnatal Abortion. It's not really slam or anything, but check it out. This next one, it's honestly impossible for me not to like this. I'm sure a lot of people don't, but this album rules. This is The Disfigurement of Existence by Signs of the Swarm. This is an up-and-coming brutal deathcore band. They're on Unique Leader. Got a lot of traction recently. They have a couple other releases. I don't know what number this is in their discography. But this album is brutal as heck. Tons of amazing vocals. A lot of great guitar work on this album. Lots of super heavy bass drops. Almost too many. We're getting to the point where this album is amazing, but if they keep going the same direction, they're gonna kind of lose some people. So maybe tone it back for the next album. Maybe make them more memorable. I wouldn't say memorable, but more valuable. Make them mean more. But yeah, amazing album. There's a couple guest appearances, I think, on this album. Fabulous, beginning to end. There's a cool little in-between track. It's an instrumental called Guided into Serenity. It's pretty great. The album definitely needed it. So yeah, that's number 9, Signs of the Swarm, Disfigurement of Existence. Number 8. I'd never heard of this band until this album. And I actually couldn't find it for a very long time because I forgot the name of the band and I didn't save it anywhere, so it took me forever to find it. But this is Ultimen with Smargd. It's not English, of course. It'll be in the description. Hopefully you can read it somehow. There's the logo. But this is actually like a washed out version. Here's the original artwork. Totally fabulous. Love it. This is like some hard to explain, like weird post-black metal, progressive black metal. There's moments on here where it's really fast and really crushing, almost Life Lover style. And then there's songs like In My Shadow and As the Snow Melted that are super clean and really refreshing, almost kind of poppy memorable, if that makes sense, like lyrics that stick in your head, that kind of thing. Fantastic album, extremely diverse. This made me fall in love with this band, and I can't wait to see what they do next. Amazing project. It's kind of hard to explain what they do, but just trust me on this one. That's number 8 with Ultimen Smargd. Number 7. This is kind of a divisive album for some, and I don't understand why. This is Chernobyl, self-titled. Don't really understand why this is hated by some. Super dense, ugly, evil, black and death, doom, something mixture with a lot of tertiary influences going on here. Huge album, it's 4 songs, somewhere in between 70-75 minutes, I think. Songs are extremely lengthy, very diverse songwriting, just an absolute monolithic piece of metal. One for any metal fan, fanatic, collector, something like that. There's a vinyl of this as well, and this digipack rules. It's very high quality. Suffocating, ugly, noisy. There's all the adjectives you can think of is stuck in this album. Lots of music there. It's hard to wrap your head around, honestly. So that's number 7 with Chernobyl. Number 6. This one is probably my surprise album of the year. I really did not expect to like this as much as I did, but this is phenomenal. This is Enslaved with E. Absolutely incredible album. I really liked End Times, their last album, but this is like next level stuff. They just keep going farther and farther with their sound. My single favorite, if I had to pick one moment, my favorite moment of music this year was the interlude from harsh to clean vocals on the first song, Storm Sun. Amazing. If you don't get chills from that moment, you're not human. It's so big and so epic, and it's so well timed. You don't see it coming, and it's fabulous. I cannot say enough good things about this. If you don't like Enslaved, then at least try this album. It's just so good, man. It's so addicting, but it's not too progressive or too new or too shiny feeling. It's just good. This is a good feeling album. It makes me happy listening to it. And there's very few albums like that that can make you feel that way in metal. So yeah, that's Enslaved with E for number 6. This next one should be no surprise. I'm a super fan of this band. I love them unequivocally. This is Gamageddon by Saito. Technical, brutal death metal of the highest caliber. Almost no one in the genre can top them. Their catchiness, their technicality, their creativity with the vocals, and the insane guitar playing. Like I said, I think I mentioned this in my last video, which was a million years ago, but it's almost unfair how good the guitars are on this album. It almost makes other bands look bad. I hate to say that, but it's almost true. My digipack got a little messed up in shipping. There's a little chip in it. Oh well. Amazing songs. Probably my favorite song of theirs and their whole discography is Chernobyl. Fantastic. Very long song for a brutal band like this. Amazing slams. Amazing breakdowns. One of the best vocalists in the whole game. Primo. So yeah, German radioactive metal. Check out Cytotoxin with Gamageddon. That was number 5. Number 4. This is another one I had never heard of. And this one I was totally addicted to for months. This is Horizonless by Loss. This is some of the darkest, bleakest, ugliest, most depressing doom something or other albums to ever exist. It is insane how dark and brooding and genuine this album is. It's almost uncomparable how heavy and destructive this album is. It's almost self-destructive. Extremely guttural vocals. There's a really I like the vocal style, but it's a really harsh, like, scream, yell, like, wail that they use sometimes. Fantastic atmosphere. There's a couple songs on here that are pseudo-instrumentals, but are kind of just, like, background noise with things going on. It's it's a really unique experience. I really recommend this for anyone who likes funeral doom or doom death or something like that. Absolutely incredible album. It's on Profound Lore, I believe. Yes. If you haven't checked that out, please do. There aren't enough adjectives in a thesaurus to possibly describe that album. So it's number 4 with Loss, Horizonless. So we have number 3 now. We're getting into the big boys. And some people might not like this, but get off my back. This is Reclaimer by Shadow of Intent. Man, this album blew my mind when I first heard it. I really liked their last album, but it didn't really catch me that much. I didn't connect with the songwriting per se. But this album is so far ahead of so many other bands in the genre that they have to step up and try to be as good as these guys. The songwriting and the instrumentation are just almost unparalleled. They deserve all the credit in the world. They deserve all the publicity, and screw the haters. This is an amazing album. It's an amazing band. They deserve the world, and hopefully they continue with material like this. Maybe one day we'll look back and this is a mediocre album by them, because I think they still have a long way to go with some of the orchestral stuff, but the brutal deathcore, technical deathcore stuff that they do on here is groundbreaking, in my opinion. I didn't used to be a fan of the genre way back when, especially when this channel first started, but now I'm a big fan of some bands, and these guys have won me over, unlike few bands that can. That and the Elysian Great Evil Gallery Arc by Infinite Annihilator, probably 2 favorite deathcore albums ever. Top tier, almost unmatched album. Check that out. If you have any reservations by reviews you've read, don't listen to them. So that's number 3, Shadow of Intent with Reclaimer. Number 2, absolutely fabulous album. Cannot even begin to put words on what this album makes me feel. This is Visions Wallow in Symphonies of Light by Ingurgitating Oblivion. Such a unique album. An experience unlike any other I've had musically. This is such a strange, almost unmusical experience at times. It's very experimental. Hopefully you can read that. It's pretty light outside. There you go. It's extremely strange. I guess you would call it like dissonant death metal, whatever kind of genre you'd put that under. But it's more than that. The drumming on this is phenomenal. The guitar work is extremely intricate and intertwined and undulating. I'm probably going to get some hate for this, but I'm not a huge fan of Portal. But if you love Portal, I can guarantee that you will like this, because this is everything I want out of the genre that other bands don't really give me. There's extremely lengthy songs on this, 20 plus minutes. There's like 2 10-minute songs, and there's 22-minute songs, something like that. Huge songwriting, just forever changing. It never gets stale, and the drumming is a big plus to that. It helps more than you might think. So if you haven't heard of this album, please go listen to this if you like death metal or weird stuff or whatever. Number 2, Ingurgitating Oblivion with Visions Wallow and Symphonies of Light. Number 1, should be no surprise. I mentioned this before. I didn't think it would change when I didn't feel the way I do about it now when I first heard it, but after many listens and lots of digestion, this is one of those albums that should go down in history as one of the greats. This is Exuvia by the Ruins of Beverast. Absolutely worship this band. I've listened to all of their albums a billion times, it seems like, and I've listened to this one probably more times in a row than any album I've ever listened to. It's so moody, it's so weird and folky and dark in a genuine kind of way. It feels like a weird movie almost, Every song on here is pretty lengthy and also very diverse. There's no two songs on here that sound the same, and they all use different elements, maybe from his previous discography going into here, as well as new things that he's never done before, even close. Like especially the song "The Pythia's Pale Wolves." It's extremely hypnotic and trance-like. A lot of ambience, a lot of secondary noise. The only thing that could make this better is if he included the other Takutum Totem song that's on the EP on here. I think it would fit well, but I understand why it's not on here. But that's the only one small thing I have to gripe about this album. The digipack's getting a little tore up because it's been in my car for so long. So it's been jumbling around. Yeah, Exuvia, Surtur Babar, Maritime, My Ear. That's probably the most Ruins of Everast song on the album, the third song. Pythia's Pale Wolves, Towards Malakia. That's the first song they put out before the album came out. And of course, the last song, Takutum Totem. Extremely trance-like, extremely weird, and magnetic almost. You want to listen to this album more. As soon as it's done, you want to do it again. Guaranteed. You will get addicted to this album if you like this style, and I'm honored to live at the same time that this album came out. So that's my number one of the year. It's my top 25. If you want to see like a honorable mentions or like a disappointment video, I'll do one if you want me to, if there's any interest in that, because I have another list already set up. I just don't know if you'd want to see it or not. So that's my list. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you found something that you didn't know about. Hopefully you learned something about me. Hopefully you don't hate me more for this. Hopefully you stick around. And I'll see you next time. Mwah.